Hey, welcome back to another nighttime video. I am sitting in front of Arby's. That's why my face is really red. Oh, I'm blushing. Oh, I'm sorry. No. Boy, am I blushing. So, figured I'd flip the camera back on. Maybe do a little more talking. For anybody that hasn't been to this channel before, I just turn on the camera and whatever happens, happens. This is the real deal here. No scripting. I'm not scripting it. I don't cut stuff out. I got some earlier videos where there's a lot of cuts, but that's because my SD card was failing. So right while I'd be recording, it'd just stop recording, then I'd have to start it again, then it'd stop recording, and I'd have to start it again. But now that I got a better SD card, thank you, Tony. Now I haven't had that problem. So pretty much straight through, I just turn on the camera and I start flapping my gums. And most of the time, I'm getting more and more relaxed with the camera because I did not want to be in front of camera. When I first tried it, I was really struggling because, I put a camera on me, even though I'm pretty good in public and everything with people. Put a camera on me, I was like, and I've gotten much better. I've gotten more relaxed. And I'm amazed sometimes when I go into editing, knowing that I just hit record and I just start talking. And I'm amazed sometimes because when I go into editing for each video, I kind of skim through it and listen to what I'm talking about, different subjects of that. And that's how I'll come up with a title. I'll like a sentence or a word I'll say or something. I'm like, oh, I'll use that for a title. That kind of fits what I'm talking about or something. Sometimes it might not even make sense. Something I say in a sentence, I just use that as part of the title. Because in the beginning, I tried thinking of, what's a good title for this? And I was spending tons of time trying to think of a good title and not getting something out. So I told myself not to worry about that. It's more important to just, keep flowing, keep putting the videos out, and it'll come to me naturally. Is how I feel, and I can tell that's working. That way, I don't feel pressured. So right now, I don't know. I can see the difference already from my first videos of me on camera and how uncomfortable I was. But now I'm getting more comfortable to where I'm really starting to flap my gums quite a bit. And subjects vary. Talk about God quite frequently, but a lot of times I'll talk about silly stuff because I've got a silly sense of humor sometimes. And I don't know, the subjects really change. Sometimes I've talked about different family dynamics and my life and that, and part of me talking about my life and that everything I talk about my life, whether it's humor, whatever, I'm just putting my whole life out here on camera. That way people can get to know the real me. That way I'm not scripting nothing. Because I know that the more you see and learn me just being myself on camera, the more you should be able to see my faith in God, and hopefully that light will shine through strong. Because for me, it's not a belief, it's a knowing. I know God's real. I know it. 100%. I know it. No one could ever convince me different. I know. I've had too many powerful experiences with the Lord. He's revealed himself to me in so many different ways. One of my biggest testimonies is my third video, my brick story. Of course, I ain't too good on camera in that one. And that's one of them that I did edit out a little bit because I got to blubbering. And it was blubbering for a while, so I cut out an area where I was crying because I figured I didn't want you guys. I was new to the camera and I didn't want everybody just seeing me sitting there crying, It'd be kind of a silly video. But yeah, since then I've cried on video too, talking about different subjects that are really emotional, where my eyes start welling up, or I start choking up in my throat, getting that tight throat feeling. I keep especially up front here, I keep some microfiber cloths up here, so that way even if I'm driving, that way I can at least grab something and dab the tears that are welling up my eyes so I can still see to drive. Because I got to be safe. That's number one. I don't want to cause any accidents or nothing. So, but then part of why I film most of them when I'm driving is I tend to flow really good when I'm driving, when I'm talking about stuff. So it depends, because sometimes I sidetrack and get thinking about stuff, or traffic, something will happen, and pay attention to traffic first, and then I forget that I'm filming for a little bit or something sometimes. So sometimes there's boring moments in there, but the people that are skipping out in the boring moments, like, oh, this is boring and walk away or leave the video. Some of those videos, man, all of a sudden I went from a boring moment to talking about some deep stuff about, how I found closure with my alcoholic biological father that wasn't in my life for a whole lot, really. And he was wonderful. I love him with all my heart, but I had to learn a lot of stuff and understand his life and stuff to get that closure. I was upset with him at first, but I'm blessed. I got to know him real good and love him and understand him and everything before he ever got sick and died, So thank you, Lord. That's wonderful. Otherwise, if I didn't get that blessing in my life and my dad would have passed on, I would have maybe still been holding on to that. It would have been harder for me to get closure, because then he wouldn't be here no more for me to learn the things about him that I did to understand, about why he wasn't in my life. It wasn't that he didn't love me. He was a human being just like me, and I've had tough times and been lost and stuff like that, and it's exactly what it was. He was just a human being that was having a hard time figuring life out, and life was getting the best of him. It was whooping on him good, Doesn't justify, him not being there for me as much as I wished he would have been, but luckily I got to know that and understand it, and I'm quite alright with it, I mean, sure, I wished he would have been there a lot more in my life, than he was. He was there, sporadically on and off, but I'm glad I got the ending I did with him, because I ended up getting to really understand him and love him and see all of his good qualities. He had his bad qualities too. He who's without sin cast the first stone, kind of a deal. Well, hey, that got sin on me too, so did my dad. But I was able to understand it all. So thank you, Lord. I got lucky that way. All four of my parents, my mom and my stepdad, wonderful, 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 and my dad and my stepmom, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And they all got along for the most part. They didn't they weren't like hanging out together or nothing, but they were cordial with each other. They weren't like, always trash talking on each other or something like that. I didn't have that. I got lucky that way, because I know there's other families like that don't know how to get past that stuff. So, when parents are split up, some parents end up trash talking the other parent and stuff, and I'm glad I didn't have that to deal with, And I've never done that with my daughter, even though me and her mother didn't end up staying together. I always spoke highly of her mom to my daughter, and I had a talk with my ex one time about that, when she wasn't exactly always saying positive things about me, because me and her didn't work out, and I just sat down and had a talk with her about it, that I've never talked bad about her in front of her daughter, and I wouldn't, because I admire my ex, and she's got a lot of wonderful qualities. She's a wonderful lady. We just didn't work out together because we're young and learning. But I let her know that, hey, don't do that in front of our daughter, I mean, if you're got things you don't like about me or something, tell that to your girlfriends or your family on the side, not in front of our daughter, because our daughter is part of me. And if you're putting me down in front of her, it's like you're putting her down, because I'm part of her. I said, and I've never done that to you, and I will never let that happen. I will only speak highly of you, because our daughter's part of you too, and I want my daughter to grow up knowing she's got two good, awesome parts in her. I want her to have total positivity. Even though we're not together, she can know that she's got two awesome beings that created her, And just because we didn't work out doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with her, Because my daughter's awesome. Even though she's not in my life, she was in my life up until she was, I don't know, 4 or 5, and just being apart and different things happen. I'll get into that another day, another story. And where are we at here? Yeah, I can talk a little longer yet. But yeah, my daughter, she is literally a godsend. Literally. I prayed for my daughter when I was in the beginning of high school, long before I ever even met my daughter's mom. I prayed for my daughter, and because I used to think I was going to die at a young age, and I prayed to God while I was walking down 3rd Street by Harding High School. I prayed to God about before I died that if He could bless me with a little girl, I'd really appreciate that. And He did. I used to think I was only going to live to be 42. And I made it past that. And my biological dad died when he was 55. And I was 25 then. Then I got thinking, well, maybe I wonder if I'll make it to 55, you know. Well, now I'm 57. Made it 2 years longer than my dad. Of course, he was an alcoholic. Didn't live, you know, he drank a lot of alcohol. And I think that's pretty much what got him, you know, because he ended up dying of toxic shock syndrome. His stomach ruptured and it bled into his system or whatever. And he was stubborn, didn't go to the hospital. If he went to the hospital sooner, they would have been like a day. If he would have went to the hospital even a day or something sooner, they would have probably been able to save him. But he waited way too long till the last minute, till they had to call paramedics, you know. It was too late then. His body was already into shock, toxic shock so much. So that's another story. I did talk about that though in one of my other videos where I talked about closure with my dad or whatever. You know. So yeah, the Lord's been good to me all my life. Another prayer that the Lord's I always prayed that His will first, no matter what, because He knows what's better. But I pray for things, and I still do. But I always pray that God's will over all, because He knows better than me. But I do pray for stuff, and I keep praying for stuff. And I feel like He's slacking, but I know He's not, because He knows what He's doing. But He knows I feel like He's slacking a little bit, but He knows I'm playing too. I laugh sometimes, and then it's kind of like poking the bear, joking around. I'll throw some jabs, and then I'll look up and like, I hope you. I'll start laughing. I'll be like, I hope you're okay with my humor, you know. And I think He is. You know, but He knows there's a seriousness to it too. But I know there's a reason for it all, so, and it's gonna get better. I just can't wait for the good stuff to start happening, man, because I know it's coming. You know, I know it is, and I'm glad I started doing these videos. You know, because I know they're helping people. I know there's people out there that can relate with some of the stuff. I've had a lot of people come up and talk to me already about a lot of the videos. You know, so, you know, it's because local people that have watched. I miss some of them. I've been looking for some of them, and I ain't seen them around here no more, so I don't know if they moved out of town or out of state or something. I don't know. Some of them I haven't seen in a while. Maybe when spring, summer gets here, some of them will be back. But, once again, talk to God about anything that's on your mind. There's no special way to pray. You don't have to worry about doing it some all official thing or something. You can just talk to Him. You can talk to Him, joke with Him. You can be upset with Him, and you know, or you can vent. He knows that. He understands. And thank you for being here, watching this. And where's that big old thumb? Look at that. That thumb's bigger than my head. That's my symbol for give it a thumbs up if I did okay, you know. But God bless you. Thank you for being here. We'll see you on the next one.